So, Jason, how are you?
Oh, I'm very good. Thank you very much. How are you?
I just wish we used better software.
Yeah. Like OBS.
So, I don't think you can get it on the iPad. That's the issue.
Oh.
I'm gonna have to dig out an old laptop or something. Get that working maybe. So the idea, dear folks, is that we want to continue some form of content for the band channel, but recording music, as you can imagine, is very expensive. So we're just trying to figure out ways we can do it somewhat regular and be entertaining with it. So we thought, why don't we do a little fact thing about various musicians, music, and whatever musically related we like, and see what you see what you think. Anything else to add to that?
Very good.
That's cool. We do apologise for the silence because we're using Skype and we're realising now we probably should move on to another software. We're just doing a demo run more than anything of the format. But we will see how it goes, basically. And for our first episode, we wanted to do a little dedication to Bernie Marsden, who unfortunately recently passed away. He was, for those who don't know, he was the guitarist for Whitesnake, the original guitarist, one of the original guys. He was an excellent blues rock guitarist, very underrated in my opinion. But he did have a decent career before Whitesnake. It's just Whitesnake was his most well-known one. So, Jason, what would you say is your favourite Whitesnake song then?
Of the ones that Bernie Marsden was like a songwriter on, it's a toss-up between, there's a song from one of these two, right? There's either Here I Go Again, which is probably an obvious choice, or probably Child of Babylon. It's hard to choose because there's quite a few, especially on Come and Get It, that he was part of, but it's one of those two. It's hard for me to say.
I'm really pissed at myself for not listening to more of his work. I'm not 100% familiarised with it, which is real damn shame because what I've heard is excellent. I know the Come and Get Me album a bit. I think like the title track, Till I Die, those are really good ones. And if you don't mind looking into his solo works a bit, there's an album from 2014 called Shine. And it's like a mixture of covers and originals, I think it is. And it's damn good because he's got some right celebrity icons as well as just Bernie Marsden just playing on it. Because it's got Joe Bonamassa and David Coverdale on it.
Oh, that's good.
And I think it covers a few classic blues stuff and a few actual original stuff, if I remember right. I'll get to the main point of the video, but I do want to discuss that I've actually met Bernie Marsden a few times over the years. In particular, my dad was a massive fan of Whitesnake. Guitar in particular, there's a few meet and greets. If those who don't know, Guitar is a UK chain of guitar stores. Very popular one, in fact. They do bring in a lot of guitarists for clinics and stuff like that. But this particular one happened to be Bernie Marsden working with Paul Reed Smith, who is the founder of PRS Guitars. And Bernie was endorsed by them at one. He endorses them, and even has a signature guitar. He played a few stuff for them, and it was really good. And I'm kicking myself about this because I don't know if I've actually filmed this or not. And if I did, I don't know where the footage is. But he did an acoustic version of Here I Come Again and sung it.
Oh, wow.
And it absolutely slaps. I'm really pissed at myself for not having that footage at the moment. I'll put a bit in if I can find it, but no guarantee. And even if I did, it will not be the highest of quality. But yeah, Bernie's made quite a bit of a career for himself. And one of his earliest works, which is the subject of this video, is that he toured with UFO.
I did not know this.
UFO, famous English band. Probably most well-known guitarist is Michael Schenkner, I believe his name is pronounced. The Scorpion solo stuff. But before Schenkner joined, Bernie was their tour guitarist. Or he might have been a studio guitarist as well, if the tour didn't go so horribly. Because what's the singers of UFO? I'm just looking up right now because it's the same guy.
I know like bloody nothing about UFO, so
this is where we need Joe, ain't it?
Yeah. Come back.
His name's Phil Mogg, the singer is.
Okay.
There's some diehards who are going to be like, you don't know Phil Mogg? Which is an arsehole. That's why we don't know him. So, there's a reason why I say this is because their final tour had Bernie Marsden smacking him round the face on stage with a Gibson Les Paul.
You what? Literally like Gibson to the face?
Gibson to the face.
That's like literally a big solid body slab of like two-piece wood.
Not quite, believe it or not, because this is not a well-known fact for some reason. I don't know. I've never heard anyone talk about it. The only reason I'm aware of it is because Bernie has put it in his book.
Oh,
this is one of two autobiography books that Bernie Marsden has written. Anyone interested? I got it double signed.
Ooh.
And in particular, because Bernie didn't really do drugs or anything like that, he has quite a memory of this thing, to the point he remembers the setup, the year it was done, and even the guitar that he smacked Mogg with. So, for those that are interested, the story goes, it was in 1973, they were on tour with Supertramp, and the bassist, who was, give me a second, Pete Way and Phil Mogg, were complete arseholes to him for some reason. I don't know why. They kept calling him country boy, stuff like that, and really going on about that kind of stuff. I don't know why that was a thing to insult a person you hired in particular. Very weird scenario. I don't know whether they were off their teeth or whatever. But apparently, one of the shows, Bernie was playing, I shit you not, he has wrote down every detail of this, his Firebird Gibson. He broke the string on it. And back then, he didn't have any guitar tech, so he pretty much did it all himself. And he had to swap guitars very quickly. And during the process, he got smacked against the head.
All right.
And he was like, what the hell is that? He turned around and he saw Pete Way laughing. And then Mogg looked at him with a grin on his face, and said, and I quote this from the book, try to be more professional, country boy.
I don't get it. Is it because of how he plays? I mean, I guess blues and country are a bit similar, but it doesn't make sense to me.
Keep in mind, he's very British, so it wouldn't be Americanized as much American blues.
Yeah, that's strange.
It would be more what Clapton played.
Yeah.
Like the B&O album sort of style.
Yeah.
And UFO weren't really a blues band either. They might have had tiny blues influences, but they were more of a rock band than a blues band. Maybe that then. I don't know UFO well enough to really say. I only know a bit of Schenkner stuff. That's about it. But anyway, so according to Bernie Marsden, he just lost at that point. That was the tipping edge. The straw that broke the camel's back. So apparently, he moved across his stage and he hit Mogg squarely across. No, it was his back, actually. I said face, my bad. Across the back with a 1956 Gibson Les Paul Jr.
Oh, I mean, that's still a pretty the Gibson stuff is usually pretty hefty.
Yeah, for those that don't know, I keep saying that a lot because it's very niche information, this kind of stuff is, but Gibson Les Pauls are very heavy guitars. Now, a Junior is considered the cheap model, and it isn't as thick as a traditional Les Paul standard. But that doesn't change the fact he is being hit across the back by a heavy slab of wood with metal on.
Well, it's a solid body as well, isn't it? So it's not like you're just getting hit by an acoustic.
No, you're basically getting smacked across the back with a plank of wood, like a solid plank of wood. Ooh. And chances are would have been somewhat like mahogany, if anyone's interested, which is a pretty heavy wood. And as far as I'm aware, he didn't get arrested. I wish I checked it out now because I just like, I found it.
Did he get fired?
Apparently, he came into like a borderline guitar bass battle between him and Pete Way. Something like that. I'm not 100% sure.
Oh my god! So they literally became axes for a second.
Very much, yeah. The drummer didn't give a shit. He just continued playing.
Of course he did. What drummer ever gives a shit?
To be fair, you probably couldn't tell half the time when you're a drummer. There was no blows afterwards. And I think the end of that tour, maybe even the gig itself, I ain't reading too much into it. That you can read his book if you want to.
But so they played the gig. Did they still?
They finished the gig.
All right.
So pretty much afterwards, they just decided, yeah, this isn't working out, and then they separated. Bernie Marsden recommending Shankner to replace him. So for those UFO fans, if you want for Bernie Marsden picking a fight with Mog, you wouldn't have Michael Shankner.
Well, and I guess Bernie Marsden wouldn't be in Whitesnake.
That's true, yeah, true. I think I generally prefer, like, that is a funny story. Like, anyone's interested to know about the book, it's called Where's My Guitar? It's all written by the man himself. Nice gift for your dad, basically. But yeah, I generally prefer the Bernie Marsden era of Whitesnake, even when I listen to them.
Oh, yeah.
The one thing I really dislike about Whitesnake is that it feels like they try, as soon as Bernie left, they tried to really Americanize the band.
Was Bernie already gone by the time they did the Whitesnake, like the self-titled?
I think he was. Let me check. He was gone after Saints and Sinners.
All right. So literally, this was his last album. Then that's interesting.
That's his last album with them. Now, he does get on the stage he doesn't anymore, but he used to get on the stage on the odd occasion and play with them when they were in England and stuff like that. But yeah, the self-titled one, that's all, non-Bernie, which is why I dislike it a bit, especially their version, Here I Go Again. And I'll explain why. It's because I think the solo is shit in comparison to the original.
Right, actually, yeah, because I think after Come and Get It, or no, after Saints and Sinners, it was Slide It In. I think that's when they got, what's his name? John Sykes, was it?
I think they, yes. Yeah. It was Slide It In. It still had Mickey Moody, who's an excellent guitarist, and Cozy Powell on drums, and John Lord on keyboard. Well, those that don't know, look them up. Cozy Powell, one of the best rock drummers ever, and John Lord
his signature behind me. Got Cozy's signature behind me.
Hey,
amazing.
And yeah, it's when they started to go Americanized and stuff like that. Oh
yeah.
It was the glam era.
Oh.
And that's why, if you listen to the '87 version, it's very Americanized.
Yeah, because I've got that one as well, and I'm like, I don't mind it, but I prefer this version of Here I Go Again. It's just so much better.
It's not bad. It's just the original's more raw. This was why I hate the American version, because it feels like it's basically removed the British history of Whitesnake, in my opinion.
Mm.
And if you go up, because I was thinking of doing a little tribute to him and to Bernie when he passed, like learning Here I Go Again solo.
Mm.
But if you look up a cover of that song, every single time it's the American version. I found maybe 2 of the original. Even like YouTube Shorts, there's nothing. And it's really bad.
It's crazy, that is, yeah.
It's really bad, especially considering Bernie wrote it, basically, with Coverdale, I think.
Yeah, he was a co-writer, but he was also like the lead guitarist, like I think from the start of the band up to that point. So
yeah, he was a founding member.
Oh.
It's between him, because the first album was Trouble, and I believe it was between it's what you think it is pretty much. Him, Coverdale, Mickey Moody, Neil Murray on bass, I don't know him, and Dave Dowie as drum. I fortunately don't know them, sadly. But he had John Lord and keyboards. I think they were mostly Deep Purple members, if I remember right.
Yeah, Coverdale.
Because Coverdale was in Purple. John Lord as well, weren't he? So it was like, there's a few bands that spun off from Purple.
Like Rainbow.
Yeah. I'll finish in this final comment, but if you ever noticed, like, Deep Purple was borderline like how Japanese idol groups kind of work. I know it's a weird statement, but they literally have different stages of the band. And you see that among Japanese idol groups and stuff like that. And then it kind of some of them spin off to make their own things.
Yeah.
And it's like, that is weirdly hilarious to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, to finish it off, Bernie Marsden hit Phil Mugg, or whatever his name is, on the back with a 1954 Gibson Les Paul Jr.
Just thinking about it. Oh.